So I decided to do this video, and then I saw that I don't have much juice on my phone. And then I thought, well, I shouldn't do it. Then I thought, yeah, I should, because if it just ends, it's perfect, because I don't intend to be polished at all. So if unpolished ending where it's just like, where did he go, would be kind of perfect, actually. Okay, so if I would have done this video years ago, I probably wouldn't have done this video years ago, actually. I would not have, no, I wouldn't have, forget it. Forget all that. I would never have, because I was a repressed non-dual teacher. Well, I thought I was going to go there. The closest I would have gotten to it would have been to bring forth practices that point to my, and then talk about my woundedness and my hurt. So let me talk about my woundedness and my hurt without being a teacher. I was really fucking hurt when I was a kid, and I didn't even realize it until I came out of repression, how deep the wound was. And it was closer to humiliation, actually, than hurt, shame, and a fear of being hurt again, and then anger, repression, all wrapped up into this chronic pain. I didn't know any of this, guys. I mean, I had really fooled myself. I had buried it so much that when I woke up, I couldn't see that. I really couldn't. All I did was felt pain. I couldn't see all this. Totally hid it for myself. And so I fit kind of easily into the non-dual teacher thing, because it's like, you look at the teachers, and I could do that because, well, they're not dealing with this. And unconsciously, I know I chose, in part, teachers, non-duality first, because of the promise of peace and particular teachers. But man, I was hurt as a kid, truthfully, and humiliated. Now, there's layers to that, because if you go back and you listen to me talk 10 years ago, I would tell you about that unlovable story. But that's a layer above what I'm talking about here, the trauma, the identity of being unlovable. I didn't know I had that until inquiry. I just felt something was wrong my whole life, but I didn't know that it was like I felt deeply unlovable. But so that's how I grew up. No matter what you saw on the outside, I felt like my life force was shut out, gone, just dead by the time I was in 7th grade because of the bullying. And I didn't know it. So I just, in high school, I was in the closet. I dated like 3 or 4, maybe 4 of like varsity cheerleaders. I was hiding so much being gay that I was this athlete. I was a musician, fairly popular because I wasn't being myself. I wasn't being me. I was just being whatever I thought people wanted. And it worked. I got love. But something happened after high school. I couldn't put on that front anymore. I couldn't be that popular sort of go-getter kid who's the musician and athlete, because I was hiding, and I knew that. And I just got into drugs really bad in my 20s. I won't go into this, but from age 20 to 34, serious drug addiction. I just want to talk about the emotions, because that's a way to hide too, is talk about the drug addiction. It's really about the emotions. Yeah, I just remember when I first picked up painkillers, I felt like I was with my family and we were playing a board game, and I took a painkiller, and I thought, this is what it's like to be connected to people. And then it wore off, and disconnection happened, and I just kept going back to the painkillers. So obviously, see, my system was disconnected. There was disconnection there from the trauma. So I've lived a whole life, including being a teacher, with disconnection, buried rage, unprocessed fear around the buried rage, and shame. Definitely in my body, in chronic pain. It's all chronic pain. So all of that came from these experiences growing up. When I went to college, I'm going to tell you, by the end of this video, you're going to hear the things that I hate, if we have time for it. So I know some of you tuned into that probably to hear something like that. But before I get to that, I want to tell you, I've been a liar all my life, an emotional liar, because I had to. And I was a liar as a teacher. So that, how I was showing up in terms of just whatever that was, it wasn't me. I'm discovering and have discovered what I am now. And I just don't think it necessarily fits at all within the mold of what I was doing in the world as a teacher. So I like to just scrap it, frankly, and like I was just starting like now, right now, or this year. This is what it feels like to me to be a teacher, not identified with it, but like, I don't want to say embodied or done, but more embodied. And now I can point better. There's been a talk about humility, and before I get to the anger and stuff, humility or vulnerability, I take a lot of accountability for what I've done. I don't always say that, but like there have been like inquiries where I felt deep sorrow. I'm gonna cry here if I don't. It's okay if I do. I'm sorry, you guys. I really am. I know I've said it before, but like until you're sitting in this place where people have come to you, thousands of people, and then you recognize a bypass. I mean, that's big. That's fucked up. And I have felt that. I feel it now. I know some people that are like, see, that's what you guys, when you press emotions, you guys let me off the hook. You're like, oh, it's okay. You're doing, but look, I'm not letting myself off the hook here. I'm also not suffering over it. I'm opening to what's happened. I'm accountability. I'm just saying, fuck that. I'm not doing that anymore. What I did wasn't right, and right, wrong, whatever, but it wasn't healthy. And there's a lot of other teachers doing it, but today's not about them. Yeah, so the last, want you to know, the last 5 years of my processing have not been all about anger. There was definitely humiliation. And so part of being a teacher was to hide from that fear of humiliation. Just being, this is me. I didn't know it, though. See, because if I can be up here and point to awareness, that's how I was hiding. I can't hide in the NKI. Like you really can't. I mean, you can, but it's painful. But I was hiding as a teacher. In so many ways. I mean, all my videos, most of them are gone, but there's some of them are up, earlier ones. Maybe you can tell, but like in that body is a tremendous amount of like humiliation that's just buried in the spine as pain, but like a tremendous amount of fear of humiliation is what it is. Fear of what other people would say, fear of being hurt. It would be more of fear of humiliation, because that was my life from 4th grade to 6th grade. And so that played into the teacher thing, because if I can come out here and look peaceful and point to enlightenment, there's nothing more noble than that. Like you can fucking totally hide in that. How are you going to be humiliated? And even if you are, you could just sort of dismiss it. Like, it's such a self-protective thing. It's been so much more real for me that if I felt something that somebody said, it's just to say, okay, I'm not angry, or go into it, or go into I'm humiliated, the feeling, whatever that's been, has been the answer to it all. It's not to sit up here and try to be somebody that doesn't feel humiliation. Frankly, here's the truth of the matter. I actually don't feel a ton of it. Here's how it comes. It comes through the anger. So because the humiliation layer is in with the anger, I couldn't even get to this. But like, in other words, if I'm perceiving somebody humiliating me, like bullying, the anger can come up. It could never come up before. See, so when it couldn't come up, my self-protective thing was peacemaker teacher thing. So if you say anything to make fun of me or do anything, that chronic pain is going to capture that for me, and I don't have to deal with it. But now I don't have that self-protection thing. So if you say something, now I've had to go through the anger, see, or the rage. Fuck you, is to own the fact that where that comes from is the humiliation, and then it takes me there. But frankly, because if you look at my teaching, it's all there for you. I looked at shame and humiliation with the BDSM stuff. See? And so that's probably why you hear me not talking about it much, because that I already talked about. It was the anger that I couldn't get to. And by getting to it now, I can get to what the hell I was doing, really. I was teaching. It was coming from a pure place in one sense. In the other sense, it was just like any other thing that you do in the world. It's not real. If there's still trauma there, ego, it's just not. Is it real now? Yes, I love it. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to defend myself. If I have work to do, I'm going to look at it. I'm not going to make claims. My work is ongoing. Is the way I see that. I've learned the hard way that you don't proclaim things, or you process them if you do. Yeah, so I grew up humiliated and hurt, but more humiliated. And then, see, the big thing for me is a fear of that. So my entire life was built around just avoiding the fear of being hurt and humiliated or rejected. See, the people closest to me were the ones that turned against me when I was a kid. I had sex with 4 of the 6 or 7 guys in elementary school. We were messing around, and then they were like it. They liked it, right? It wasn't me doing something against their will. Sometimes they initiated it, but that started something in our group where it's like I'm the there's the words for it, because they were really afraid of that, whatever, in themselves, and they were afraid of my creativity and my femininity, and they just let me know. So I learned basically that do whatever you have to do. This is all unconscious, to avoid being humiliated. Do whatever you have to do. Period. I became an attorney. How can you humiliate an attorney? I have power. I have the law in my hand. I can see. That's the anger underneath. I was humiliated as a kid. That's where that was coming from. No wonder I didn't want to stay as an attorney. I wasn't clear. And then, but even as the teacher, see, so because when I had the non-dual realization, you guys, it was totally real, and it still is. I mean, I can't get rid of the non-dual. There's no way I could. I don't know how to. What would that mean? It's like all here. It just wasn't embodied. And so I had all this going on even as a teacher, just tremendous amount of peace and presence. But then underneath this, what I didn't know was warding off humiliation. So I never would have danced as a teacher, obviously, or put on makeup or gotten angry. Anything that doesn't fit the mold. That's why I don't want to be in the mold now. Whatever, it's not real. There's no mold. That's all just concepts. But collectively, we buy into stuff in the spiritual community, and we project in shadow. And I don't really want to be in it anymore, because I just want to own my stuff. And you can't really own your stuff in the spiritual community. I mean, you can, but like so much non-ownership of shit, it's just not a really healthy environment. So I don't know how else to say it. It's just not healthy for me. Mostly, except for some communities and people, definitely. I just learned to know what's healthy for me in my life. So I want to get to the anger, because I know you guys want that. What do I hate and all that. I also want to talk about, I've been an emotional liar my whole life. Not being who I am. That's what I wanted to say first. And then I have to go to the bathroom. This is great. I'm going to go to the bathroom during the thing. You're going to have to sit here and wait on this. Because you know what? Normally I would just stop the video or do another video. But you're going to have to get me uncensored and raw. I'll be back. Go get a drink. Well, I've allowed people to misread me because I misread myself. That's what came up for me when I was going to the bathroom. And luckily, you didn't hear that, right? But yeah, I was just misreading myself, and people were misreading me. There's so many things I want to tell you. Like, I just have never trusted people, but I didn't know it. Because remember, I was angry and afraid. And I didn't know that. So I had buried the distrust and disconnection along with the anger. I can't even apologize for it, because this is the state of humanity. It's what we're all doing. But I still want to. I want to say, I'm sorry that I didn't know that. I just didn't. And so I've built a life around not really being connected to people. I've got people close to me, some people for sure, Dan, my partner, and some others. But I have kept that from happening. And teachers do this. I did this. Is you can use the awakening to, of course, bury the disconnection. And then live a life of solitude and peace and alone time and just sitting and being. And I've done a lot of that. A lot, actually. And I've come to see that there's a good bit of disconnection in all that. So my practice has been about connection and authenticity and relationship much more, embodiment, the feminine, all of it really, to counteract this attachment avoidance type thing. So for example, the distrust, you guys will see me commenting more on social media now. Let me just tell you how the bamboozle has worked in my life. There's a deep distrust of people showing up as chronic pain. But even after the pain left, just recently I processed some stuff because there was a trust issue in my life. And as soon as I did that, I just noticed I wanted to start commenting and talking to people in the comments of all my social media platforms. If you notice, I never did that before. And somebody said, "Oh, so now you're trying to comment to get people interested in the work?" Yes, that's the whole point of commenting. I don't have any problem with that. But they were trying to catch me or something, like, whatever. Here's the reason I didn't comment before is because I made up reasons for it. Like, I want to do something else. Just other kinds of reasons. Just bullshit. The truth is that there was a distrust issue at a deep level. And as soon as I processed that, I just wanted to go connect and comment with people. So you'll see me commenting now. Probably, unless I get busy. But I don't have a block to that. That's what I want to explain to people, because that's what people don't explain to others. So in other words, you might see me not commenting and you might think, oh, he's really aloof, or he's so enlightened that he doesn't being bothered by anything. No, it was just disconnection. So now I can comment and talk with you. Just being honest. Just a reminder, this video might die at any time because my juice is running out. And if I check it, it will die. So I can't check it. I'll be right in the part where you came to watch, like where I'm like, and I fucking hate, and then I'll just go off. So I'll get to that in a second. Vulnerability. I'm a really affectionate person. So much so that my partner didn't know what to do with that when he first got with me. And I had to do even a little suppression of that and some work around that because of his trauma. But yeah, you guys don't see that part of me. Very handsy, touchy, affectionate, and loving. You don't see it because I get on here and teach, and I'm trying to help people, but you're going to see it more because, again, the trust issue would have affected my capacity for that in some way. So, yeah, you can see why I chose this path. Just in a better place. Like, I'm happier. I can get angry now and I can experience all these things. I'm just so much happier. And before I thought the path was just, you're the presence and just abide. Well, now there's the abiding, but now I'm happy. I get to be myself in that. And it's so hard to express to people. That's why I keep talking about it. Happy is a funny word. You know what I mean? I just don't suffer. I'm just not suffering because of KI. If there's any energy around something, I go straight to it now. I like it. And I don't like the experience of not opening to my emotions now. I know what that feels like. And I just go straight to it. I'm not trying to get your approval. I swear to God, I'm just trying to be honest. I have had bumps in the road, like with the trust issue. Something happened recently that I can't really say because it involved someone, their confidentiality. But it brought up something. And at first, I didn't want to. And I sat for like a day or a day and a half maybe. And I wanted to chew on it. And I could see it was old. And then I was like, shit. And I went straight to the anger on it and the fear. And it was like, God damn. So I just have learned. Don't avoid. It's just, that's the way. That's for me, my way. Okay, what else to see? Shame. You guys already know. I've talked about the humiliation. I did the BDSM addiction. I've already talked about that publicly. I just want to make sure I'm not hiding anything on that because I like to hide. So I've done drugs. Real quick, this is boring too because you already know this. When I had surgery on my back, incredible pain, painkillers for 2 weeks, then Xanax, then ketamine, weed. All those things fell away. I smoke weed from time to time. I don't care, honestly. I mean, I've looked at whether it's connected to something. I can't see it. I can't feel the energy if I have to with it. But I still like it in different settings, including with inquiry. Sometimes it helps with somatic awareness. So there it is. I don't want to come off as somebody who's pious or who doesn't do stuff because I did that all my life trying to be good. Fuck that. Just telling you how I feel. I grew up in a family in which you got rewarded for being pious, for not doing things, for not indulging in pleasures. That's my ego. Fuck that. That's my trauma. Let's see. So, okay, there's all that, the shame, the vulnerability. I've been hurt in my relationship with Chester. I'm in love more than ever now. I mean, I've never had somebody that I love this much. He also has the capacity, if there's any button to push, he can do it. And it's good because he has big energy. He's a sadness repressor, so it can feel like a bullying situation at times when he's really hurt. We can't open to it. And so it pushes my buttons and it makes me open to my anger first, which is good for me, and my fear. And then it shows me how to process the anger and be able to go meet him wherever he's at, including if we can go to vulnerability. That's our path, because that's my husband. You know, I can't make him go to vulnerability. It's not, that's really mean, actually. I've learned you can't make somebody be different than they are. I just want to meet my experience, meet his experience. And sometimes I get hurt. Sometimes he'll say things because he represses sadness that are very hurtful. I process them, though. I'm just telling you, he's the one that can hurt me. Other people that say things I've done enough work where most times if you guys say something, it doesn't really, that's not the humiliation. Let me see how I get triggered publicly about humiliation. See, it's mainly like Chester, big energy, can feel like that. But there could be a scenario publicly where I could feel like I did when I was a kid. I've done so much work around it. Let me see here. I thought about a sex tape. But see, I don't have any energy around that. Like, would you actually want to see that? I don't think you would. And yeah, who cares? My God, if that came out, I'd be like, who cares? Humiliation. I mean, if I did something really unconsciously and tried to hide it, yeah, there'd probably be humiliation. To be honest with you, if that would happen. So I'm going to look into that if there's anything there. I've gone into so many different scenarios because I'm a hider that's my path is how am I using my life to hide? So I'll just continue. If there's something there. Okay, what do I hate? I hate not all driving, but when they pull up behind you and you can't really see them, they're right behind you and they're aggressive. My partner does that sometimes. Big energy. So, okay, so that bothered me. I had a lot of anger at that for a while until I realized, oh, that's my shadow. That's the snake in the grass, because that's what I used to do. I used to be really close to people, but you can't see my anger. So therefore, my personality isn't real from the beginning. I can see that I'm sweating from working out. You know what I mean? I would be right here, and it's like, I'm angry, but you don't know it. And I might have a different look on my face. You don't know anything. So everything, how I'm showing myself, it's all fake. And it's aggressive, see? Because with anger repression, it's like I had an agenda to lots, but I'm not even going to tell you about that. You'll see it when you do anger repression work. I was the car, covertly being aggressive, and that's why it bothered me. It bothers me when people don't process their stuff. I mean, obviously, that's been a shadow of mine. If it's a teacher, if it's anyone else. Why? Because I didn't process my fucking anger. That's why it's a shadow. So it's my work to do. So when that comes to the teachers, let's talk about that. And me offering help to teachers. I still don't want to mention names, but you know who I'm talking about. Somebody said, oh, you look like you got hurt when he said no. No. That's not humiliation or anything like that. That doesn't touch that. That's not that wound. So it's not me being the wounded lamb here. That's my fakeness, where I would have been like the unlovable and I would have had to process that. No, because what was really going, if anything, that would have made me angry. Why? Because I did that. And so my processing with these teachers is the anger. It's not I'm a wounded, hurt lamb. It'd be more like the tiger needs to come out. And when people tell me to shut up, I have to process that, because I've learned when I was bullied to shut up. So I have to process that to be able to speak, but then not to be attached to the outcome. And that's the part maybe I haven't been clear about. So I process everything around that, and that didn't really come up. Not that much came up with it, really. It was more just like, I used to say, I'm for like Paul Revere in some of this, because I process my stuff. So it's like, these teachers that say no to processing unconscious stuff, I get to still be free from the work. It feels like they're going to be the ones that could be suffering in their illnesses. I don't feel good about that. I don't feel right. So that's the difference you guys probably don't see. It doesn't make me feel good to feel right about that. I actually have compassion. I actually do want to help them. And I think that's the thing that I need to say, because some of this is really coming from a good place. I have gotten angry before at teachers, to them. There's one teacher that behind the scenes you don't even know, that I've scolded him for what I won't even say, because he'll be coming back at me and not he won't process stuff. I'm not going to say anything else. But yeah, I've gotten angry at them directly because I can. That's all. Because I'm not afraid to. Because I'm not trying to get their approval, and I want you to be that free. That's all. But I've also hated authority. My phone might die here. I've also hated authority, to be honest with you, in my own way. So I wasn't the classic authority hater. I wasn't the like, that's not really true, actually. When I was an attorney, I fought the good fight. I was the anger repressor. I was the victim, and I was suing everybody who was discriminating. So yeah, I was fighting authority, all the big corporations. That was a long time ago, though. By the time I got to the teachings, I wasn't fighting authority in that way, but I still had some issues with teachers when I got here, just like so many of us do. And it was coming from anger repression. I couldn't be the authority for my own experience. You see how everything is you? So all of that was just me. Do I have a problem with authority now? No, because somebody said, no, are you kidding me? Authority has helped me so much. Let me explain. Somebody said, Scott, I agree. Teachers are bad. I said, I'm not saying that. I'm going to have to clear myself up here. Nope, I'm not saying that. That would be coming from unprocessed. Couching everybody and everything in something. There are really good teachers out there. I've already listed those. No, I'm not saying all teachers are bad. I'm not really in the bad good thing or the right wrong thing here. I'm actually talking about unconsciousness. So it's more like there may be unconsciousness there. It doesn't make them bad. And so, yeah, I used to have that, though, authority, energy on it. That's you. I'm telling you. And you can heal. I healed from that by doing the repression work. I mean, if there was anything left in it, that was it. So I want to say this. What I take from all that in my path is that I've had to have teachers in the beginning, or else I'd stay bonded to the suffering. But I've had to kill my teachers in the end, or I stay bonded to suffering. And so I'd say is use me. Be careful not to kill me early as a teacher. If I'm one of the only ones that can help you get into the unconscious, there may be others. If you kill me early, you stay too safe. Kill me at the end when you stand on your own 2 feet. And kill KI. There's no reason. So I don't attach to KI. People misread that. Nope. So that would not make any sense to land on KI because of unprocessed anger. So I've already done that. That's your shadow projections to me. What you see here is passion. That's what it is. It's just passion. I feel like Ken Wilber. I know that everybody's partially wrong, including me. But I'm just trying to make that statement in the world that I know that I was wrong, and that's how I got here. I thought that pointing to awareness was the way. I was wrong. 7 books. Here's how I thought the way. No, I was wrong. I thought that you could embody awareness that way. I was wrong. I thought that I didn't have any anger. I was wrong. I thought that I was embodied. I was wrong. That goes on and on and on. See, I thought I didn't know that I had to be angry and afraid all my life. I was wrong. That's how you get to KI. And then you can't then say you're right now, because that's the same thing. See, if you see what it is, no, this isn't it either. There's nothing to hang on to. These are just tools, is what I've seen. They're just tools that help me feel what I haven't wanted to feel, and that's it. If you can see it that way, it's healthy, I think. because then we can end the whole religious part of spirituality, the whole trauma bonding. But see, my path has to be connection and authenticity. So whereas you're going to let go of me, I'm going to connect with you, because I'm not going to hold you, but I have to be authentic. My practice is to be authentic and connect, and then let you go when you're ready to go. But I can't play distant, awake teacher. I can, to some degree, I have to set boundaries. So you'll see that. You'll see me setting boundaries. But I have to be really careful with that, because when I was in repression, I wasn't setting boundaries. If I didn't want to deal with you, I wouldn't talk to you, I wouldn't say anything. Now I'll talk to you, and sometimes I'll put a boundary out there and we'll get into an argument or something. But part of my work is also to see how that the boundary setting is also coming from the buried anger, or it was. And so now I'm looking at any boundaries, relative boundaries that I've placed, like not commenting in posts. Is that a boundary, see, or is that buried anger? And I learned that that's actually buried anger, again, because I think I repeated this already, or said it already. Trust issue when I was a kid. Didn't trust people. They turned against me. I thought that I wasn't commenting in these social media, like I said, because of some other reason. It was actually because of the distrust. Sorry to repeat that, but that's actually a somewhat new insight. What else do I hate? I know I don't see it as a problem. Like if I hate something or if I'm angry, it doesn't seem like a problem. But it feels like I should say it, since we're in spirituality where it's usually a problem. No, I mean, through the years of doing the anger repression, I've been angry at a lot of things. But it's just, so I was storing it though. So I don't have it stored now. So I can't really say I'm like angry right now. But I have the capacity for it. And I love that. And the capacity for aggression if I need it. And I can get angry. So that's the thing I want to say. If there's any thought, or whether you even care, whether I'm actually doing this work and have come out of repression, ask my partner. Just call him up and ask him. He'll tell you. He's been through it from the beginning. He's a sadness repressor, so he has no problem with anger. My work has been to meet that emotion. I'm in a safe relationship with someone who can get angry. That's why I call it safe. Because if he couldn't get angry, my anger wouldn't feel safe. So I've been able to bring that out, bring forth, and explore that. He's been a trooper about it. And, but I had an environment that really worked for this. So let's talk about that in the future, the environment that you're in, the relationship that you're in, and talking to your partner, and whether your partner processes and all that. But that's not for today. Things I hate are anything that I want to share here. The real Scott Killaby, there's no Scott Killaby, not because the nature of non-dual, is because that's not really my name. My name is Scott Funkhauser. And I grew up in Indiana. Scott Killaby is a made-up name. There are no Killabys that I know in the world. It's not a real name. It came because I was in this gay group that used to, people would come into chat rooms, in like early AOL chat rooms, and basically pick on gay people a lot, fag bash. Well, I was with a group of gay men that just went around and fought back. And so we would like punt them out of rooms and do all this crazy stuff. And we were called BP Matey, Butt Pirate Matey. And then we had our letters at the end. Whatever we wanted, mine was kill. And so I just, that's where it came from, guys. Killaby. That's it. That's not at all spiritual. No teacher said you're going to be the Killaby. They would deem you Killaby. No. What else? Maybe I should just talk until it dies here. What do I not want to tell you? Start there. What do I not want to tell you? I have a foot fetish. Yeah. I have short video coming out on it. I only like guys' feet if I'm in a relationship with you. So if I like your feet, you better watch out. That means I have some I have something for you. I'm into you more than just sexually. And that came from when I was a kid, and I was, I was a swimmer, and I was always in the pools, and I had crushes on lifeguards, but all I could see was their feet. And so my crush and my limerence was started to get to connected sexually as I got a little bit older to feet. Yeah, but I don't really have any. I guess I don't mind telling you that. I did process that recently for the first time, actually. Let me tell you what that was about. If I can remember. Shame. I didn't want to tell you. Oh, I know what it was. That's mine. So that wasn't even more shameful than the BDSM or some of the other stuff. But it felt like that's mine. You can't have that. You can't know that. And so I was not going to process it. But I ended up processing it because because processing stuff like that is great. Anything. It's just deeper freedom. So I always wanted to process the shame in it. So I guess that's why I'm telling you. Some of you are like, too much information. I've now know exactly what kind of sex you like, and I know your fetishes, and sorry. Block me. The peace is still here. That's the crazy thing. It's never left. Like I said, I can't get rid of the non-dual. So as I sit here and it's just quiet, it's like all that activity and then it's just gone. So in case you're wondering in terms of my realization, yeah, I'm settled in the non-dual. Not I, but settled in it, you know. Like I say, can't get rid of it. If you need to hear that part too, there it is. But not without my battle wounds, as you can see. I'm affected by the suffering in the world. I've never talked about that. I always have. I was empathic as a kid, like so many of you. So somewhere along the way, early in life, I don't know, I just saw how people treat each other and the suffering. And I don't know how you can't be affected by it. I obviously repress some of that too, because we have to survive, right? We can't know about all the suffering. We drown a lot of it out. But part of my work has been opening to those parts of the world that I didn't want to deal with, like the cruelty to animals and to children. Really important topics for me. It's easier to get lost in spirituality and forget those things. And I've come back to that, to caring about those things and other things, including climate crisis and politics, because now I'd like to see if there's a different way, a third way, as they say, where we're not strongly identified with either our trauma or our political party. So I feel kind of alone, frankly, and I'm looking for other people that are interested in that. I would love to be involved in something like that because I'm actually interested in change, because it's coming from a different place now. It just feels like you could do anything. It just feels like I don't know, like life is beginning in some way. So politics is totally on, everything is. There's nothing wrong with the world. It's all just what it is. I mean, there's a lot of suffering, but here we are. Speaking of the politics thing, the green, sick green that I've been talking about, where we have trauma and repression is driving our liberal politics, our progressive politics. I've already moved through that, but transcend and include, I still see the value of it. Equality and treating people with respect and dignity, that's important to me, but I moved out of a lot of I can't relate to a lot of the politics, either liberal or conservative. I just can't. Especially when it's coming from such pain. Just people don't process their stuff. That pisses me off, because this is our world together. It's me not processing my stuff again. The one me. And the shadows that creates sometimes. I like alien documentaries. Yeah. Someone said, "Do you believe in aliens?" No, I don't have a shrine at home with candles and like a fake spaceship that I pray to or anything like that. But yeah, that's me being a smartass. No, I don't fucking do that. God damn. um, no, I'm just kidding. Like I didn't get triggered by that. I just thought it's funny. Like people say, "Does he believe in Bigfoot?" Well, I don't know if he believes in it. But the way I like the subject is, come on, there's other life forms out there. What are we waiting on? Why are we in denial about it? Why is everybody not talking about this? That's how I feel about it. What? This is cool as hell. Like they got toys, they got technology. Maybe they got, unless they want to kill us or do something bad, they might have some great stuff for us. Why are we not? Oh, the stigma. Yeah, well, I don't care about that. I've had experiences, and I'll just share this. You want to see the real me? I've had psychic experiences, psychic abilities. I'm going to die here soon. My juice. I can read, not so much because I suppressed it, but reading people's energy, well, I can do that still. But like knowing exactly where they're at on a path or knowing about their family and details and stuff like that, that didn't fit within the non-dual thing. So I stuffed that down. And that's why I'm coming back out and saying, fuck that. Because I'm not going to deny being who I am or what happened for me. And then, certain experiences, like even with aliens, I don't deal with real versus unreal or existence versus, or is this, none of that, that's duality doesn't play in my experience. So I'm going to tell you about my alien experience. Don't ask me if it's real or not. Those divisions don't make any sense to me. Just so you hear me, because that's why I don't believe in something that isn't separate from me. I'm just curious. There's a curiosity for what's happening here. And I just want to know. I had an experience. Now, if it dies right here and you haven't heard this, you're going to want to hear it. Are you going to want to? So I had an experience. This was after starting to develop the 3D work. It was mostly developed. And it was these ETs. And I was deep in a meditative state. So again, people are going to say, that's all in your mind. I don't deal with in mind, out mind, inside, outside. It doesn't. So just go with this. So these ETs just showed me these rungs. And people, species, were in each of the rungs. And these beings could not see above them. So the rung here, they couldn't see above. And then the rung above them, they couldn't see above, but they could see below. So everybody could see below. And the ETs brought me to it was a huge room. And they were just showing me that everybody could see me and I could see them. It's like they were trying to tell me, I'm showing it all to you right now. And then it went away. And all the rungs came down and they just downloaded it for me. This is an experience that I had. And then there was a lot of insight that came from that after that. Incredible insight. Does that mean that no, that's not what that means. I'm not saying it's real or not real. I'm not saying this or that. I'm just sharing my experience. This is what happened for me. It was not dwarves. It was not Bigfoot. It was not old presidents that came to me or Jesus. It was the ETs. Probably because I'm interested in the subject, but still, don't mess with the line between real and unreal, because we do all that for safety and confusion. There's no divisions in reality, and we're just thinking a lot, basically. Just see that your thoughts are empty. Do your somatic work, in other words, and enjoy it. Fucking enjoy it, man. That's what I've been doing, is enjoying life. Shit, like crazy. Sometimes doing nothing, but just enjoying being myself like never before. I don't even know how to articulate it. Sitting in a chair, not just sitting and being myself. Everything that I do is myself. It's like everything that I ever wanted, I don't know how to explain it. Including the anger, though. Including everything. That's why it's being myself. I was just hiding. Is there anything else I hate? Yeah, I don't like it. I can't say I hate it because I understand it. When Chester he's a sadness repressor, so he can lob some names over at me when he's hurt and he won't face it. It's been perfect for me to go deeper. So speaking of hurt or humiliation, again, sometimes it'll hit something, so it's perfect, and I'll just own it. And it's always, I'm angry and afraid under it. That's why it lands on me. If I go straight to just processing anger, it doesn't land. So that's what I've been trying to tell everybody. Whatever your repression is, learn how to go skillfully to it. So I don't have triggers anymore. There might be emotions that come up and just immediately because of this work. It just, nothing sticks. And I'm just being, except for like when I was stuck in like the trust thing for a day and a half, and like, you know how we get in that place, that gap, and we're like, I know there's something here, but no. There was a sabotage. Like I had created that, you know, and I wasn't willing to look at it. But we become willing to look at it, don't we? At some point when it hurts enough. And it hurts sometimes when he says things. This is a person I love. He has the ability to push my buttons, whereas other people don't always. That hurts. And I get angry, right? I don't know if I've said this yet, but so there are times when, if he's in his trauma response, do you think I'm just going to go and be vulnerable when he's yelling at me? It doesn't work, guys. So you have to meet people. You have to meet your experience. That's what I learned. If I would sit there and be vulnerable, it would have angered him more because of his trauma. So I learned to be real with him. See? And like, fuck you, no. If I have to, if that's what I have to do. But then I have to look at the extent to which the asshole is there. Now, who's the asshole? The asshole is a fear-based thing. It's not anger. It's not just anger, clean. It's anger and fear, anger and old trauma coming up. So I've developed the asshole inquiries for people coming out of anger repression. Because from time to time, until you're clear, coming out of repression, there'll be times when, you know, yes, you will get angry and you might be an asshole and all that. Get over it. It's going to happen probably. That feels good to say that, in case you guys think that I just sit around all the time and just, again, there's a lot of peace, mostly peace, but that too. I think that's coming to an end. Chester's had some mental health and addiction issues that I can't say a lot about. That's really challenged me, because being so close to him, it's really taught me that I have no business in his business. So to the extent that I thought that I did, it was just that I'm angry and afraid and not opening to it. So I might linger around in it a couple of times in our relationship for a day or a few days until I go, okay, I need to meet this. And then whatever situation he's in, whether he's in a relapse or whatever, it helps me and it helps him, because then he can have the space to whatever he needs to do. And if I'm in that space, playing teacher or anything else, even loving, concerned husband, but who's running on anger and fear, I just have to be real. And that's gotten us into problems, because in being real, if he'll say something that he's doing that is scary, I might say it, and then that might trigger his trauma. If I'll say, that's scary that happened for you, and then just being real instead of trying to be, oh, is that so? Because I've learned, don't do that when you have pain or contraction, right? Because we bury it. So that's triggered him. And so get ready, because again, when we come out of repression, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to love how we show up. And that's why we were in repression, right? Because we wanted love. But goddamn, don't rob yourself of the joy and the enthusiasm and the passion that's available to you. And I don't even know the words for it.